And here tonight, we're on the eve of the Stanley Cup Final beginning for the first time in 10 years. We have a Canadian team in the finals. It is the Montreal Canadiens. Of course, I'm sure you've heard by now, and they're going against the defending champs, Tampa Bay Lightning. So we're going to get right into it. Boys, I'm going to kick it to you first. I want to know what you think the key to this series is for either team or for both teams, however you want to break it down. Frankie, I'll go to you first.
Yeah, I really can't pinpoint one thing, but I know we're gonna kind of go over everything. So, I'm gonna say for me, I'm gonna take the easy way. I'm gonna go depth. I think I think this is the first series where where Montreal. We've talked about how they've been able to neutralize their team's best players, Matthews, Connor, Ehlers, Stone, Pacioretty, etc. Now you're facing a Tampa team where they're pretty deep 1 to 4, and I think Montreal hasn't played a team like this that, for me, has the best center depth in the playoffs. You're going from Chandler Stevenson to Braden Point, Sorelli, Yanni Gourde, Tyler Johnson. That's going to be tough. So if by chance they can shut down, let's say the top line of Point, Kucherov, and I believe it's Palat, you're going right back with Sorelli, Stamkos, and Chlorine. For Montreal to stop 4 lines from scoring, that's a tall task. And at this point, I can't say that they can't do it because who knows, they're pretty, they very well could. But I think that's just a little bit too much for Montreal to take. So that's going to be me. So the center depth down the middle.
Okay, Bobby, what about you?
I'm going to go with puck luck. I think puck luck's going to determine a lot of this. It determines most of the NHL. I mean, we've now seen the worst team in the playoffs go all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals, and they've done enough of hard work. I'll give them credit. They've played well. I think it's going to come down to breaks and bounces and who gets a couple bounces. And if Tampa scores the first goal in any of these games, I'm just kind of interested to see the dynamic of the game, to see, how Montreal responds. And I'm actually really interested. Frank just talked about the 1-4. I really want to see how this Montreal defense holds up against, what is going to be wave after wave of attack. And I've credited Montreal's defense. They've done a great job this playoffs, but I want to see what they look like against this unit, because we've said all year about the Leafs, they haven't really seen. The defense hasn't looked bad because they haven't seen forwards like this. Now we're going to see the best I think it's easy to say the best forward group in the league.
Absolutely. Yeah. No question. And yes, they are $18 million over the salary cap, but they were cap compliant by the end of the season, so it doesn't really matter. For me, it's Tampa's power play. Montreal's has such a good penalty kill this playoff, and it's got them out of a lot of trouble. But they played against a couple power plays that were frankly not very good. The Leafs power play was abhorrent. The Jets wasn't good. Vegas's was not good. And now you're coming up against Tampa's, who is lights out right now. I believe they're going at a 37% clip this playoffs. And if Kucherov is not hurt and he's playing, that changes the whole dynamic of that power play. When he wasn't playing against the Islanders, you really noticed that power play struggle. He's the guy to get the puck in the zone, get it set up, make plays, and he's the double shot threat. You got Hedman at the point with Stamkos on one side and Kucherov on the other side. If he's not there, then it's a lot easier to just focus on the other two guys. So for me, it's Tampa's power play. If they continue to go at this rate, even at 25%, I think they're going to draw some power plays. I think that's the series right there. I'm really looking forward to it. It's a pretty good series. You got the two best goalies in the league.
I was just going to chime in on that. When's the last time we saw this caliber of a goaltending matchup in the finals? I was just kind of flipping through the past.
Did Colorado ever play the Devils?
Actually, yeah, that's a pretty good. I was going to say around 01. Versus Brodeur, because after that, the closest thing maybe, but even that, the closest thing might have been in 14, Quick versus Lundqvist. Talk about two good goalies at the time, but to talk about reigning Vezina winners, Hart Trophy, Vasilevsky and Price, this is in itself just going to be an incredible duel. And if you look at their numbers, they're virtually identical for the playoffs. So this is incredible.
Who do you think has more pressure this playoff series? It has to be Montreal, is it not?
Depends who you ask. If you know, it's funny. Listening to Luke Richardson's press conference, I think he's thrown out a couple bangers the last last couple of days. He actually came out and said today they don't see themselves as underdogs. As odd as that sounds, they're I guess they're trying to paint a picture that they think they're the favorites. But are they not playing with house money at this point? Like a lot of house money? You know, I don't know, man. That's I'm split 50-50. I don't
Because
know where I want to go
for
with that
me,
one.
Tampa's got the money in the bank. They won the cup last year,
Yep.
right? Yeah, they're the best team, and usually the better team in the series has more pressure, typically. So you could say the Habs are underdogs or not, but Montreal plays in a hockey-crazed market. They haven't won the cup since '93. The fans all of a sudden now all believe that they're going to win. So you have that pressure on top of it all. I think for me, it's Montreal who has more pressure than Tampa.
So the last thing I'll say on that is I think I can see both arguments, but if I'm going to lean to one side, yeah, I'll say Montreal too, only because there's a very good chance Tampa finds themselves back in this position next year. Can't say the same about Montreal. This is it for them. I think we all agree here that they probably are be very hard pressed to make the playoffs next year. You know, so this is it. If they don't make do this year, like who knows when they're ever going to be back here. So.
Goal Caulfield and Nick Suzuki are going to lead them to at least the playoffs next year?
Does it look like
can we just settle down with these narratives that we keep hearing, keep hearing them pump? It's getting a little ridiculous.
Come on, going. Joe. He's the greatest prospect since 1893, man. Come on.
I'm going to weigh in because this was actually I thought about this today because normally the pressure's on the top team, right? Usually if you're the best team, it's like, man, all the pressure's on you. I'm saying 100% of the pressure is on Montreal for this reason. You guys brought up all good points. Tampa won last year. Montreal, kind of playing with house money, but I'm looking at it as if Tampa loses this series, they won last year, and they're more likely to get back to this point. Montreal might never get here again. Now, I'm hearing a lot of people saying, well, this team's trending upward. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I can't remember who I said it about, but progression is not linear. Everybody thinks that they're just going to take steps forward next year is wrong. You're wrong. And the fact that we are arguing that we don't even think they're going to make the playoffs this year, they have to take advantage of this chance. And as a Canucks fan that saw a really good core go to one Stanley Cup, they got one shot. And they almost did it, but they didn't. You don't know how many shots you're going to get at this. Tampa's now had one last year that they won, and now they're back here this year. They're more likely to get back. So I was thinking about like a Habs fan in '93 that had they lost to the Kings, they'd probably we're trending upwards. We got the best goalie in the league. We'll be back next year. They didn't get back for 28 years. So for me, it's 100% on Montreal. Everybody's going to think it's Tampa, and Tampa is the better team, so they should have more pressure. But given this circumstance, you don't know when you're going to get back here. I'm sure Leaf fans in '67 said, let's get them next year. And we know that term, right? Next year. Vancouver fans in 2011, right? Vancouver fans 20. We'll do them next year. We've just seen so many teams, and especially in hockey, where you see teams. Hopefully, we'll talk about it one day. After they either lose the Stanley Cup or win the Stanley Cup, fall off a cliff. I mean,
especially when it's a Cinderella run like this, right?
Like we had Edmonton, Carolina in 2006. Just off the top of my head, really quickly, 2016, I think it was San Jose. Didn't even come close to getting back. Nashville got there. Is there a tire fire? The Blues won the cup a couple years ago. They have a lot of good prospects, but they don't look nearly as good. So you just don't know how many shots, how many kicks at the can you get. And I don't think this is linear. This progression is not going to be linear with this team. This might be the best we see out of this group from the Montreal Canadiens. And I sound like such a Montreal hater. I would say this about anybody. I love the city of Montreal. I actually don't even mind the team, but it's just it's everybody's freaking out. Relax. But this might be the best shot you have. in
It most
with this
definitely
core.
is. Not might be. It most definitely is.
Oh, it is.
Right?
I don't want to say
because
that, but
next year Weber's a year older, Price is a year older. Like it eventually.
and this might be the best you get from Suzuki, Kotkaniemi, Caulfield. This might be the best we see from Caulfield. He's playing really well. What if he just doesn't get back to this level?
Yeah, it's going to be tough to see. Well, the more you play in this league, guys get to know your tendencies. They learn how to play you, especially when you're a guy with that skill level. So he'll have to adjust. I'm sure he's going to have an awesome career, but like some of the things I'm hearing, like let's pump the brakes a little bit. He's played like 10 games in the league so far.
He's really small, eh? Like I don't think you realize how small. I don't know if he's going to be okay for 82 games. It's going to be. I think next year will be a bit of a culture shock because he hasn't been leaned on very much. He hasn't been hit a lot, and like he's shifty, great for him. But I don't know. Maybe I don't know. This is not a Montreal pod, but we just don't know. We don't know about this team. There's too many question marks. That's why they have to take advantage of this shot this year.
He's got a hell of a release, though. I'll give him that.
He does. All right, boys. It's prediction time. Give me your prediction for the series. I called the Habs beating Vegas. I was the only one. Just want to point that out. You guys laughed.
No, you did it as a reverse jinx. Don't tell me that
was part of it. 100%. That was part of it. But I actually believed that they were going to win.
Can I go first, Frank? Before you go,
absolutely.
I don't have a coin to flip, so I'm not gonna flip one. But that's what I would do because this is a sport where Maggie the monkey was more accurate than, a lot of experts. We don't know, and I am dejected as the only guy that I picked Tampa last year to win. I picked Stanley Cup champion. I am dejected to the point where I'm picking nobody. I am not picking. You guys pick. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say you're taking the easy way out, but
totally. I deserved it. I picked Vegas. I'm not picking against Montreal anymore. I'm done. I'm done picking against them.
Okay, I'll be that guy because I know which way Joe's going. Okay, Joe, I'll take Tampa in 6.
I'm gonna go Habs in 7. It's their year. You'll see. I don't know. Braden Point will get hurt in game 1 or 2, and Kucherov's already hurt, and they'll get a couple more bounces along the way. It just seems like it's going that way. I really hope not, but
Stamkos will get syphilis. Yeah,
maybe scurvy.
Scurvy. Yeah, the black
plague.
Frankie tweeted me, or he mentioned me in someone where someone's like, Montreal can't catch a break this playoff.
You saw that? Oh,
that was. Do you know the Naked Gun when they all slap their heads? That's. Excuse me.
They can't catch a break.
Can't catch a break. These poor guys. I feel bad for them now. I'm rooting for them now.
Throw them a bone.
Amazing. Oh, wonderful.
And done.